Hi, we have a lot of people here. Hi, everybody. It's wonderful to see you. Let me just fix my screen here. And so you've all been muted just for a little bit. There's a lot of people, so we need to mute. And we're going to get started in just a minute. And it is great to see all of you. We had a lot of people sign up. So many of you were really smart to come in early because we had over 2,000 people register, and I knew we only had 500 spaces because I wanted to see how many people showed up before actually enabling more people on Zoom. And I'm just glad that we have so many people that are interested in either attending and learning to meditate and to cultivate a calm inner state, or listening to the recording afterwards, which we'll make available. We'll put it up on the website. You'll get an email. Terry, we'll send an email out to everybody, right, with the link? Great. Thank you. You'll get an email, and that will provide you the link. So, all right, let's see. Let's just dive right in, shall we? I know we have people. All right, I'm going to wait one more minute because I can see the numbers are just turning, and we've got lots of people still coming in. So
Cheryl, do you want to remind?
Yes.
Do you want to remind people that they can see the closed captions if they'd like to?
I was just going to say that you're great minds, right? Think alike. Okay. Here we go. So this is especially a gift for Liz Conkel, who was on Facebook, and I'm hoping that she's here. And if not, Liz, I hope you are watching the recording. I hope you get in. We have enabled closed captioning. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see the CC icon. And if you click that, you'll be able to read, you'll be able to read the transcription as we go. Although I want you more focused on being present than that, it will be a wonderful tool for those of you that need to use it. And also it may be something very helpful to use afterwards when you're listening to the recording. So hopefully, Liz, you're here and you're able to access that. And anyone else who would really benefit from using it, I'm glad that you're able to do that. Okay, let's get started. Let's dive right in, shall we? So Terry is here with me. I just want to acknowledge Terry. Thank you, Terry, for being here. Terry is, she is my webmaster and my, just my internet guru, and everything technical she handles for me. And I said to Terry, I can't think of a better person. If something happened and I fell off of, got knocked off of Zoom, Terry is the most unflappable human being I've ever met. And I said, you would be the perfect person to just lead a meditation. And of course, then she panicked for the first time ever. Also here is my wonderful assistant, Lisa, and you may see her in the gallery at some point with her email address as her name, lisa@cherylrichardson.com. And sometimes if there's a resource that I recommend, Terry or Lisa will put it in the chat box, or sometimes I might ask somebody to email Lisa for a particular reason. And you can always find her email address right there under her name in the gallery. Although there's so many people, I'm not sure you'd be able to find her. Good luck with that. It's lisa@cherylrichardson.com. I'm going to ask people to refrain from using the chat box right now. Thank you so much. I see all of you in there posting hellos, and I'm grateful. I want to make sure someone's saying they can't hear me. So can someone just obviously, Terry, you can hear me, right? So it's got to be somebody's computer if you're not able to hear me. Shake your head yes, Terry, if you can. Okay, yeah, somebody else can hear me. Beautiful. So I'm going to ask you to refrain from using the chat box for right now. I may ask you at some point to do that. Thank you, Beth. I may ask you at some point to put something in the chat box, but for right now, I just want you to be present and available to a little talk and to the practicing that we're going to do together to cultivate a calm inner state. So let's start with that, shall we? Let's just start with just a minute or two, a little exercise I want to use with you to help you experience what it's like to come into the present moment. What that means is you're going to want to do things like Be in a place where people aren't going to interrupt you. Shut off any notifications on your computer. Make sure your phone is turned off. Give yourself the gift of your own attention. Give yourself the respect of your own time and presence for this period of time that we have together. We'll be together for an hour, no more than that. And you just really deserve to just let this be time for you. This is some of the most important work you'll ever do in your lifetime, and you'll understand why as we go along. So before we get started, let's all come here, shall we? So if you feel comfortable, just close your eyes for a moment. And as you close your eyes, I want you to know that one of the quickest ways to become present is to tune into your senses. So let's start by tuning into the breath. You can just breathe easily, any way that feels comfortable to you. Just notice your breath. Let your mind do whatever it's going to do. Just let it do its thing. You notice your breath. And as you notice your breath going in and out of your body, I also want you to notice sensation in your body. Where do you feel energy? Tune into the energy coursing through your body and notice where it is. And as you do that, you might notice some tension. Just direct your breath there. Notice the sensation in your body. And then when you're ready, notice if there are any scents around you. Can you smell anything? Are you maybe cooking something in the oven? Can you smell a cup of tea next to you or a cup of coffee? See if you can smell anything near you. Now feel your body in the chair or wherever your body is positioned. Feel your feet on the floor. Clasp your hands together and feel your hands. Notice what happens as you feel your hands, as you direct your attention there. You come into this present moment. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and smile. Great. So it can always be a helpful practice right in the beginning to notice where you are in space, to notice how your body feels, to engage all of your senses is a beautiful way to come home to yourself. And that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about coming home to ourselves when we talk about meditation, when we talk about cultivating a calm inner state. Okay? So let me just start by saying, I want to say a little bit about the mind. You know, I was working out earlier and I was thinking about this gathering together. I'm really grateful to be here with all of you. And I'm grateful that all of you expressed an interest, so many people. This has been a hard couple of years for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. And I, in particular, have been wanting to, for quite some time, do something to just support people in a way that was helpful. And I know that for me, the most important spiritual work I've done in the last 2 years is keep a consistent meditation practice and do my best to cultivate a calm inner state throughout the day. It has been some of the most powerful, important work that I've done, probably in all of my life. And I've wanted for quite some time to be able to be of service in some way that would really help people. And I thought, you know, I can't think of anything better to do than to help people cultivate or work towards the goal of maintaining a calm inner state. Let me say right up front, that is a lifelong practice. All right. It is a lifelong practice. It takes practice. It's something I practice every day. And some days I'm better at it than others. Some days I'm really awful at it. It's like I go right back to the beginning, but I'm aware of what's happening. And that to me is success in and of itself. So as I was working out earlier, I was thinking about the mind and I thought, you know, our minds are like, my mind is like my MacBook, right? It has all this data on it. If you looked at my desktop, you'd see a whole bunch of different files and images and transcripts and video links. I mean, our minds are like computers. They are the container that holds all of our past experiences, right? Everything you've ever done, everything you've ever said, anything anybody's ever said to you, every place that you've been, the mind holds all of that, much like a computer. A computer doesn't generate thoughts. It doesn't generate new material on its own. At least my MacBook doesn't, and most of our MacBooks don't. There are some computers that will do that. So the mind doesn't generate thoughts on its own. It's literally bringing up data that's been stored. Well, our minds do the same thing. Most of us, probably 99% of what we think every day, maybe 99.9% of what we think every day is material that has existed in the past coming up into the present. And it influences everything we do, every choice we make, every word we speak, every action we take. And if all of our actions are based on past experiences, chances are that a very high percentage of them are based on fearful or uncomfortable or what some people would call negative experiences, right? A lot of us do that. It's where we have things like anxiety, worry, fear, discomfort, all of that. And so as I was thinking about my mind being like a MacBook, I thought, you know, I need to be very, very discriminating about what I call up, if I'm going to call up anything, and what I put into it, right? We all need to be very mindful of that. And as you cultivate a calm inner state, that naturally begins to happen. Most of us spend our whole lives trying to get the outside world to be a certain way so that we feel okay inside. Or we try to get the outside world to not be a certain way so we feel okay inside, right? Essentially, we're just trying to control things all the time. Can anyone identify with that? Just hit the raise your hand button if you can identify with that, and that will sort of let me know, yes, okay, there you go. Yes, most of us do that. Lots of people do that. We just spend all of our lives, if I just get the right job, then I'll feel better inside. If I just get my husband to do what I want, then I'll feel better inside. If I just make more money, then things will be better for me. If my kids would just behave, then I'd feel better. I mean, you know, if my cat didn't walk across me while I was meditating, I wouldn't have been distracted. I actually loved it. I felt his little tail run under my nose as my eyes were closed. So our whole lives are spent trying to make certain things happen. I was also thinking about the whole concept of intention and the law of attraction. I've spent many, many years of my life setting goals, setting intentions, trying to like make things happen. And, I got kind of good at it because I was focusing my mind in a direction that I wanted it to go in. But ultimately, 99% of our time, we're trying to avoid things that are going to upset us or make us uncomfortable. It just doesn't work. That's what I want you to know. I'm here to give you the bad news is it doesn't work. The good news is this. When you learn to cultivate a calm inner state, life starts to take care of itself, and it usually does it better than you do. I really want you to know that. So we have the mind, and the mind is the result of all of the experiences we've had up till this point, right? The mind is rerunning that data over and over and over again. And it's based on the personality that's been crafted since we were very young. So from the time we're born, we begin to kind of, what's the opposite of dismantle? Assemble. We begin to assemble a personality that allows us to function in the world. We're influenced by our parents, we're influenced by our circumstances, by authority figures, by the systems, educational system, religious institutions, the culture that we grow up in, the neighborhood, geography. We're influenced by all of these things. And as a result, a personality gets formed, right? The personality, Cheryl, got formed over time. I'm the oldest of 7 children. The firstborn got formed, the hero child, wanting to always fix things, wanting to take care of people. The helper gets born, right? All of these roles kind of amalgamate into this personality, this ego called Cheryl. The problem is most of us think that's who we are, when in fact, who we are is a soul in a physical body that's taken on this personality in order to function in the world. And unfortunately, the personality starts running the show. The personality is the us that wants to control the outer world, right? I want to be really helpful and loving, then everybody will like me, right? The personality wants to manage perceptions. I don't want to be mean to this person because I don't want them to get angry at me. The personality is always trying to manage the outer world. Eventually, as we get older, we begin to recognize, if we have enough time under our belts, we begin to see that it is a nonstop, full-time, more than full-time career trying to, we dedicate all of our lives trying to get the outer world to be a certain way. And we actually, do you ever notice you got a great job? You love your job. You think, oh, this is it. This is the job that I've wanted. And about, I don't know, maybe a week or two later, something else pops up that makes you miserable. And now you've got to handle that, right? Or you and your partner have an argument and you think, oh, this is so difficult. This is horrible. I need her to understand me. I need him to behave a certain way. And suddenly they do. And you think, oh, we're in love again. Everything's fine until the next time it happens. And then we're once again, committed to trying to get something outside of us to be a certain way so that we feel okay inside. What I want for you is to make your primary focus the ability to feel good inside, regardless of what happens outside. And I'm here to tell you that's possible. It's not only possible, it will begin to happen when you make the practice of separating yourself from your ego an ongoing, when you make a commitment to that practice in an ongoing way in your life. You'll suddenly discover, well, let's not say suddenly, you will discover over time with practice that life gets pretty comfortable regardless of what's unfolding in front of you. So it's impossible to control life. It's impossible to manage people and perceptions long term. It is possible to learn to be okay with everything that happens to you and everything that happens in front of you. It's actually possible to experience that. Regardless of what goes on in front of you, it is possible for you to learn to maintain a calm inner state so that you can feel okay. So what are the benefits of this before we start practicing? You'll feel calmer. Anxiety has doubled in the last 2 years in the adult population. Statistics are currently showing that. It has tripled in children, which is heartbreaking to me. Both of those are heartbreaking. So the practice that we're going to work on here, the techniques I'm going to give you, simple things that work, are going to help to make you calmer. They're going to make you more resourceful. When we get scared, when we get uncomfortable, we automatically turn to the mind. If I can only think about this enough, think about it in the right way, mull it over and over and over again, I can figure something out. When the reality is, when you learn to just stop, breathe, come into the present moment, you actually enter a resourceful state. Your brain enters into a resourceful state, and you'll leave that state better able to handle any kind of issue that might be happening in your life. You'll show up for others in a healthier way because you get less triggered. You stop participating in drama. You actually become kind of like allergic to drama. You don't even want it in your life the more you cultivate a calm inner state. Imagine that. You allow life to find solutions to your problems. The other day, this is last week, the hot water faucet in my kitchen stopped working. There was a piece inside. It's a 15-year-old faucet. There was a piece inside that didn't work. I thought, oh my gosh, how am I gonna deal with the kitchen without hot water? Called the plumber. I was lucky to get him to come the next day. That was a gift. He said to me, you know what, this part's broken. We need to order the part. They couldn't find the part anywhere. And so what did my mind do? It went from, I've got to find the part, we've got to get hot water, to, oh my God, they're never going to find the part. We're in the middle of a pandemic. There's a supply chain shortage. I'm going to have to learn to go without, I'm going to have to bring buckets of hot water in. And I went, whoa, Cheryl, stop. Close your eyes, come back to this moment. Just be at peace. Like, this is what's unfolding before you. Let it unfold. And when you get centered, then you can figure out what to do. And I literally put it out of my mind for the next hour and continued working. Then I went online and I Googled the kind of faucet that I had, which again was 15 years old, found out that the company was no longer in business. So the mind started up again, the crazy train. Oh my God, see, I'm not going to be able to get the part. It doesn't exist. I'm going to have to buy a whole new kitchen setup. What if I don't like anything? And I thought, oh my God, I am on the crazy train. This is what we all do, right? We get on the crazy train, and before you know it, it is off and running, and the destination always sucks. It just sucks. It gains momentum and it gets worse. Once again, Cheryl, stop, breathe. Went online, 20 minutes later, Googled the part, found a company that had the part. I emailed them. They said, yes, we have the part. Send us a picture of your faucet and we'll send it out to you. I sent them the picture, never heard back. Second day, never heard back. The mind starts again. But this time, I was onto it. And before I stepped on the crazy train, I said to myself, Cheryl, if you have to get a whole new faucet, kitchen setup, you'll do that. Stay off the crazy train. So I just breathed. And the next day, the part showed up in the mail. And the plumber came, put it in 10 minutes, the part was in. I emailed the company this morning and I said to them, thank you so much for sending the part, but you didn't send an invoice. I never had a chance to pay you. They emailed back, oh no, it's on us. We just put it under warranty. Don't worry about it. Enjoy your day. And I thought to myself, there you go. Like, that whole scenario could have happened without me getting in the middle of it by worrying about it, overanalyzing it, freaking out about it. And that's one tiny example of what we do every single day when we create drama, rather than stop, breathe, remind ourselves that I can deal with whatever is unfolding before me, and then allowing life to bring the solution to you. Most of us don't believe that will happen because we actually don't give life a chance to show up for us. So that's another benefit. As I said, we'll be less susceptible to drama, triggers, overreacting, which everybody benefits from that in our lives. And learning to cultivate a calm inner state will allow you to sleep better. It will allow you to eat better. Most people eat their anxiety. They eat their worry and their nervousness. They turn to food, especially, the joke of the COVID-19 people gaining 19 pounds during the pandemic. Yes, because lockdown was as if everybody was forced into a silent retreat, and the person they had to contend with was themselves and the insanity in their lives. Instead of being distracted from it by being busy in the outer world, we suddenly had to deal with what was in front of us. And it was pretty scary and uncomfortable. So a lot of people turn to surfing, drugs, alcohol, food. And when you learn to cultivate a calm inner state, that will become the best drug you ever engage in. And you won't need the other things. So these are some of the benefits. All right. So let's do some practicing. I want to show you a few things that really, I mean, honestly, if I could tell you, if there's one thing I want most for all of you, is that when we finish this discussion, and you'll have a recording to listen to again, what I want for all of you is to make this practice a priority in your life. And I'm not talking about like going to a mountaintop or spending an hour a day meditating. I'm asking you to just give yourself 5 or 10 minutes a day to start, to learn to put some separation between you and your thinking mind. When we learn to observe how our thoughts go about their craziness, when we separate ourselves from the thinking mind, we literally lean back into who we really are, which is the soul. So I'm going to give you an experience of that. So hopefully you'll get what I mean. You know, I'm 62 years old, and I can tell you that I now understand this is the most important work of my life from here on in, because I can't control the outer world, and I can't make people be what I need them to be. I can't make results happen in the way that I want them to happen, and you can't either. But you can take very, very good care of your inner life. And these are some of the ways that we do that. All right. So the first thing I want to do, I guess, is I want you to just notice the difference between you and your thinking mind. So let's try this little, just like a little game. Close your eyes for a moment. Just close your eyes. And again, you can use your breath in whatever way feels comfortable to you. Use your breath to bring you back to this moment. You can imagine pulling your energy into your body, like bringing your energy into the center of you. And as you do that, I want you to just notice your thoughts. Notice the thoughts that occur to you. Notice what pops up. See if you can put a little space between you, the breathing you, and those thoughts. Put them out on a screen or on a big speaker in front of you. Just listen to them or notice what you see, however you engage with your thinking mind. Now, as you do that, I want you to notice who is noticing the thinking mind. You could imagine yourself sitting in a movie theater, in the back row of the theater, looking at a screen or a giant speaker, just spewing out whatever the mind does. Oh, I hope people are enjoying this. I hope people are getting something from this. I hope I'm being clear. What if people don't like this? I mean, this is some of the things my mind can do right now in this moment, but I'm noticing it doing it, which means I am not the one doing that. I am the one noticing the mind doing that. I want you to notice what your mind does. Take a minute to notice your mind. Okay. Now, again, to sort of personify the mind in some way, um, to separate yourself from it, you can notice your thoughts. Are they positive or negative? Are they helpful or scary? What kind of, are there categories that come up? Certain flavors of thoughts. Mine were sort of like fearful, like, oh, I hope everybody's enjoying this. I hope people are getting something helpful. You know, they were insecure thoughts, we could call them, right? I notice them, but I know I'm not those thoughts. I am the soul, the higher self, the wise self, the being behind those thoughts, just noticing them. It's just the mind chattering. And those thoughts of, oh, I hope you're liking this. I hope you're getting something from this. I hope you like me. That comes from decades of history of worrying about whether or not I'm a good girl, a good teacher. You see what I mean? Our history, our past history informs our present day thoughts, but they're not who we are. So this is what we're going for here. We're going for some separation between you and your thinking mind. Now we're also going for calmness. So there's a couple of things I want to do to help you to become calmer. Let me just fix a view here for a second. Let's see. Okay. So here's some things I want you to know. This is very helpful when it comes to calming down, when it comes to teaching ourselves to sit quietly. Because listen, we are living at a time on the planet where technology is evolving so quickly and our inner operating system is not. So we're scrolling on our phones all the time, we're on computers all the time, and the pure engagement with electronics keeps the cortisol levels elevated in the body, making it very difficult to calm down. So here's a couple things you can do to counteract that. First and foremost, please, I bet you know what I'm going to say. Terry, I bet you know what I'm going to say. I can see your face. Please, people, start to disengage from your electronics more frequently. Do not have them in the bedroom. If you're living on your electronics, you need to ask yourself what you're missing in your life. Some of it is just a habit. Most of it is a habit, quite frankly. But start to practice going to the bathroom without your phone, going to the bedroom without your phone, putting your phone down when you're watching television, taking breaks and learning that actually everybody lives when you're not connected to your electronics. Nobody dies. Very rarely does someone die. And when they do, they find you. I've had people find me very easily when I didn't have my electronics with me. So that's number one. Number two, I want you to know that the moment you close your eyes, your brain begins to make alpha waves. And those are the kind of brain waves that start to slow the body down and put you into a calmer, sort of a prepare for sleeping state. That's just by closing your eyes. So you don't even have to want to meditate. If you just close your eyes, your brain is telling your body to just begin to calm down. Number one. Number two, breathing through your nose, both inhale and exhale, with the exhale being longer than the inhale, will also calm you down. Now, the reason for that is when we make our exhale longer, it engages the body's parasympathetic nervous system and essentially tells the body to just relax. So you can, I use this before I sleep. I use this if I feel anxious, sort of at random moments. I use this if I feel upset about anything. During the day, my buttons are pushed, I stop, and I breathe in slowly for a count of 3, and then I breathe out slowly for a count of 6. Now, you can find the numbers that work best for you. This just takes some practice, but here's a little, so let me just say that. Breathing in slowly through your nose and then even more slowly out is going to give you another level of calmness. The third thing you can do is you can play a little game with yourself. And we're going to practice all of this. When you close your eyes, remember your brain's making alpha waves. when you close your eyes and you begin to breathe in through your nose slowly, if you play a little game and focus on how long you can breathe out of your nose before you have to take an in-breath, you will really slow your body down. Cortisol levels go down. Those are the wake-up hormones, the anxiety-related hormones. Cortisol level starts to slow down. The whole body starts to go, okay, shoulders, instead of being up around here, shoulders start to relax. So that comes from playing that little game of how slowly can I exhale? Like how long can I make my exhale before I take another inhale? That's a game that you can try as well. So now what I want to do is I want to give us all the experience of 5 minutes. So let me just look here. So we're looking at like around 4:36. So if you want to, if you, maybe I'll even make a note of that. You can come to 4:36 Eastern time. I can't see how many minutes we're in, Terry. Can you? You have to unmute yourself. So yeah, I can't see it. Anyway, you'll figure it out. Okay, so we're going to just take 5 minutes here and we're going to practice closing your eyes, breathing through the nose, and making your exhale as long as you can do it. Thank you. 43 minutes in. Thank you, Diane. Okay, so 43 minutes in, we're going to do 5 minutes. And then, but here's what I want you to do first, everybody. I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to rate your level of awakeness, let's call it, on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being, I feel very awake and alive, maybe even a little anxious, and 1 being, I feel completely calm. So notice where you are on that scale from 1 to 10 and write the number down. So take a moment, close your eyes. Okay, so write the number down. Now we're going to just do a meditation for 5 minutes, and we're going to practice what I've spoken about. So close your eyes, and you can breathe in a way that feels comfortable to you. Okay. I'm going to set an alarm for 5 minutes. And I want you to just breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, making your exhale longer than your inhale. Find a comfortable rhythm for you and your body. Here we go. Just keep breathing and let your mind do what the mind does. Focus on your breath. Slow your exhale down. See how long you can exhale for. You're doing great. You're amazing. Well done, everybody. That was 5 minutes. Wasn't too bad, right? Let's see. Whoops. There we go. So how many people noticed that you went from feeling, how many people noticed that the number went down? Let's do it that way. You can raise your hands in your box. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Keep your hands up for a moment just so I can scroll through quickly. And great. That was 5 minutes. How many of you feel like you could handle 5 minutes? Raise your hands. Yeah. It's not that uncomfortable, is it? Great. Thank you. Thank you for all the hands. It's so helpful to see that. Yes, yes, yes. And it's wonderful to see all of your beautiful faces too. So closing your eyes, breathing through your nose, slowing down the exhale. This doesn't mean it's the only way to meditate. It's just a very helpful tip that I've found over time has worked for a lot of people. And it certainly has made it easier for me as well. So we're going to do another just quick meditation, but what I want you to recognize is that the mind, as I said, the mind is like, I think of my mind as a crazy train, right? And it's really important to notice that, well, let me say this. If you would like to take an advanced course in cultivating a calm inner state, then here's a little challenge I would give you. Over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to host another one of these. If people are interested, I'll host another one of these. Okay, yeah, raise your hands if you're interested. And then, okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's great. It's like the screen scrolls by itself and I see the hands up. So for the next 2 weeks, there's 2 things I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to get a little notebook, or maybe you have a journal or a diary that you keep. And I would like for you to just commit to meditating 5 minutes a day, a minimum of 5 minutes a day. And at the end of the day, just putting a little M in that diary or in your journal or on a calendar. Don't use your phone. Make it paper, like something near the bed. You don't want your phone in the bedroom. Just a little notebook. I have a little notebook next to my bed. And in there, I track every day. I'll put a little M with a check mark. And if I meditated twice, I'll put 2 times, 3, I'll put 3 times. Sometimes I'll write how long I meditate for, especially if I'm proud of myself because I meditated for 30 minutes at a time or something. But I keep track of it because when we learn to keep track of the improvements that we make, we hate to break our records. So it kind of motivates us to keep going. So that's number one. But the advanced meditation practice that I would challenge you to take if you'd like for the next 2 weeks is the next time something happens in your life that pushes your buttons, triggers you, scares you, makes the adrenaline start coursing through your body, something that just aggravates you or irritates you. My challenge to you is that you sit down, set a timer for 5 minutes, close your eyes, and do the breathing in and out through the nose and stay there until the alarm goes off. Now, the reason for doing that exercise, and I call it an advanced exercise because it's really hard. When your buttons are pushed or you're upset about something, the last thing in the world we want to do is sit quietly, right? We want to think about it. We want to figure it out. We want to get on that phone. We want to get on the keyboard. We want to do something. Never a good idea when you're in an anxious or triggered state. Never a good idea. My husband, Michael, and I have an agreement that if my buttons get pushed, I absolutely cannot send an email without talking to him first. Never. And I've kept that promise for 10 years. And it's been the best thing I've ever done. It's taught me I almost never have to go to him anymore. But this teaches us how to begin to rely on our own ability to cultivate a calm inner state, even in the most difficult situations. Because honestly, if all of a sudden you lose a client and you're worried about how you're going to pay rent and you go to sit down for 5 minutes and get quiet and try to separate yourself from the thinking mind, you start to do it with the hard stuff, the easy stuff is going to be a piece of cake. Bad weather, big deal. I'll have fun. Slow driver in front of you, great. I'm going to just practice my breathing. Like the little things, as Michael Singer calls it, the low-hanging fruit, which I love. Michael Singer wrote The Untethered Soul and The Surrender Experiment, and I love his work. I find it incredibly helpful. If you can practice 5 minutes when your buttons get pushed or when you feel, just anxious or irritated or aggravated, if you can get really good at that, you are going to advance very, very quickly. And here's the thing I want you to know about advancement. Here's the reality. I am not asking you to make it a goal to have a thoughtless experience. Good luck with that. We're human beings. We have a mind. It's this extraordinary gift that only we are given. It's just that we're not in charge of it. It's in charge of us. What I'm asking you to do, what I'm asking you to make your goal is to begin to recognize the difference between you and your mind, to separate yourself from the thoughts, because as you do that, you'll be able to do it more easily throughout the day. And here's what I want you to know. If you sit down for 5 minutes and for the whole 5 minutes, you notice that your thoughts have just aggravated the heck out of you, I say that is an incredibly successful meditation because you noticed. And when you notice, you are connected to who you really are. So some of my most troubling meditations, I remember sitting quietly in the first year of my practice, sitting there, and sometimes I would just cry at how mean my mind was to me, how uncomfortable my mind was, how annoying my mind was. But I stayed there until the alarm went off. So let's do another 5 minutes, and then I'll finish with just a couple of quick little guidelines for the next 2 weeks, and then I'll give you the date for our next meeting, okay? So let's do this again, 5 minutes. You already did 5, now this is old hat, you've got this down. So I'm gonna set an alarm. And once again, all I want you to do is to close your eyes, breathe through your nose, make your exhale longer than your inhale, and just let the mind do what it does, and you just notice it. Just notice. Okay? Here we go. Close your eyes and begin. Just let the mind do what the mind wants. Focus on the exhale. You're doing great. Good job. Well done, everybody. 5 minutes. Once again, how many of you feel calmer after doing that? Yes. Yes, thank you. It's really that simple and that quick. So over the next 2 weeks, your assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to make a commitment to meditate 5 minutes a day, keep track of it in a diary or a journal, set the alarm when you meditate. And remember, your mind is, wait till you see how great your mind is. It is masterful at trying to get you to stop before the alarm goes off. How many of you, I wonder, notice that when even now in the 5 minutes, the mind was trying to get you to like, maybe get off Zoom, maybe, do something else, maybe open your eyes, not stay present inside. The mind's very, very skilled at doing that. It's really, the ego does not like us to separate ourselves from it. So making a commitment to set an alarm and keeping that alarm is really, really important. I usually set a timer, usually on my phone with a very, very soft alarm that goes off so that I'm not startling myself. So that's the plan. Closing your eyes, breathing through your nose, breathing more slowly on the exhale. And, we have just a couple minutes. Let me just say, if anybody has any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box and I'll do my, so Victoria says, how do you meditate without falling asleep? I just nodded off. Actually, I would say, Victoria, don't worry about it. It just means you probably are tired and you need to sleep. So it's perfectly okay to do that. If you fall asleep, you're resting your brain, you're doing your body a service. So, it's a beautiful gift to yourself. Even if you do that, it's fine. Dana wants to know, is this the breathing you do when you do the cold plunge? Sometimes, yes, in through the nose, sometimes out through the mouth. It depends. These days, when it's so cold here, I just jump in and come out right away. And I have a surprise for all of you. We're going to be announcing our retreat this week, and there's going to be a cold plunge in the retreat, the Self-Care by the Sea retreat. You're the first to hear that in April, at the end of April. So let's see. What's the difference between TM and deep breathing? TM is a specific practice. You're generally given a mantra. It's a beautiful practice. I would say all of the people I know who have practiced TM for years look 20 years younger than they are. And they use breath as a part of that practice. I'm just keeping it very simple and very, I guess I would say generic in that way, so that everybody can give it a shot. I'm glad this is helpful. Thank you, people. Is it normal to be flooded with positive words when I start this exercise? Hey, I would like to be in your head, Anne. That's fantastic. It's not unusual for people to have uncomfortable feelings come up. And I always say, let them rise and release them. Rise and release. Don't try and stop it. Just let the mind do what it does. And when uncomfortable feelings come up or uncomfortable thoughts come up, just breathe them out of your body. Don't lock them in there. Let them go. That's sort of the next step of meditation, is allowing the old stuff in that MacBook of yours to come up and be released so that you clean the hard drive and it doesn't bother you so much throughout your life. But that's a talk for another time. Let's see. Yes, you can share the recording with anybody you want. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this as just a gift in the hopes that it really helps people, especially during this difficult time. You can share it with anybody you want and tell them about this. Happy to have them join us. I have a hard time breathing through my nose. Is that mandatory? No. Comfort is queen for you, Carol. Whatever is comfortable for you. You can practice a little bit breathing through your nose, but if breathing through your mouth is better, that's okay. Christine says, hi, Christine, when you say, let your mind do what it does, do you want us to engage with our thoughts or let them go and refocus on the out breath? Refocus on the out breath. What I mean is your mind's going to think its thoughts. It's going to do what it does. Just let it do it. And as best you can, when you return to the breathing, the focus, especially on the out breath, you kind of separate yourself so that you're sort of watching your thoughts rather than blended with them. I hope that's helpful and that answers the question. Oh, good, Betty. I'm glad to hear that. What do you mean by the mind is in control of us? What I mean is most of us, as I said earlier, are working very hard to get the outer world to be a certain way. So the mind generates thoughts that make you feel uncomfortable. I'm not good at that. I'm not going to be able to do that. Well, then maybe I have to figure out a way to make it easier or figure out a way to get out of it, for example. Our thinking, our repetitive thinking that's based on history is running our lives, Kim, 99% of the time. And I would say, don't even worry about that. Let's focus the attention on cultivating a calm inner state, and the mind fixes itself. Okay. Thank you, Dawn. I call the crazy mind that you mentioned catastrophizing. Would this be accurate? I think so. My mind does a great job of catastrophizing a lot of things. Yes. Okay. Let's see. The registration is not available for the retreat, but if you're on the wait list, go to my website. You'll be notified tomorrow before it goes public on Sunday. I don't use a mantra, Allison, right now. I focus on my breath, but you can use a mantra. I used to in the beginning, the first 6 months of my meditation practice, I just focused on the word peace because that was the state I wanted to cultivate. Lizzie says, I feel like I'm suffocating when I concentrate on my breathing. It's like I forget how to breathe. This is an ongoing issue after years of meditation. Great, Lizzie. Don't concentrate on your breathing. I would actually recommend you choose a word or a mantra and concentrate on that. I feel peaceful and calm. I love feeling peaceful and calm. Maybe something like that. Cheryl wants to know, is there value holding the breath 5 counts before exhaling? There can be, but we won't get into that right now. We're starting. I recommend the book Breath. I forget the author, but it's a wonderful book. Everything you need to know about breathing, and it's fascinating. That book was amazing. All right. CKW says, how do I bypass resistance? I know the benefit of this, but I always feel resistance. Don't bypass your resistance, sweetheart. Embrace it. Take it with you in your meditation. Just let it be there and notice the resistance. Set the alarm. Decide you're going to stay there for 5 minutes and just let the resistance do its thing and just keep breathing and notice it. Try not to engage with it. Just try to observe it and notice it. Okay, I'm going to stop there so that we can finish. Our next time together, if this is helpful and you'd like to join me, is going to be Wednesday, February 2nd, right, Terry? I think I have that. Yes, February 2nd, 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, just like today. Terry, we will send you out the recording. Once it's up and posted, you'll get an email with a link to the recording. We'll put it on the website. You're welcome to share it with whomever wants to hear it. I hope you're subscribed to my weekly blog. That's how you'll learn about things like this. It's at CherylRichardson.com. And I love you all. And I'm so grateful, so grateful for you being here with me. And I look forward to being together again in February. Thank you. I'm just going to scroll through and look at all your beautiful faces. Thank you. Yes. Hi, Pam. I see you. Thank you, everybody. Yes. Hi, Sharon and V. Hi. Adrian and Cheryl and Karen, welcome to you. Hi, everybody. All right. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Bye, everybody.